Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. Today, I'm going to be my own best guest. So, first of all, I'm going to invite you to go over and take our Promote, Profit, Publish quiz at www.promoteprofitpublishquiz.com. I'm going to explain a little bit about that quiz and what we're doing and what we're seeing out in the marketplace today. So we're getting ready to launch Quiz to Qualify, our campaign that we have developed our own unique way of platform building that really benefits authors, coaches, and speakers. But before we get into it, I want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the marketplace and how we're going to run this campaign differently than we've run campaigns in the past. Not hugely different, but hugely different from everyone else out there and what's really making this successful. So if you know anything about Quiz to Qualify and the assessment marketing courses that our company teaches, you know that we use a platform that actually brings people into a self-reflective state. So your audience, it's not like a survey where we're asking them questions. They're actually having to think about where they are in relation to what success looks like. And for those of you who have been doing this a while, you know that marketing changes every year. Our consumers get more and more savvy, and we have to be able to change and move with them. What worked last year isn't working this year. What worked the year before didn't work last year. And it's because the audience they get exhausted. I just saw a post inside the Extraordinary Women Facebook group where one of the women was complaining about why am I getting all these Facebook ads for coaches? I'm sick of these. I'm exhausted. I want to know the people I work with. And we're seeing a lot of that out in the marketplace. Now, let me define for a minute why. Digital is a great tool, and digital ads and social media and Google ads, they're a great tool if you have a physical product, something that people can actually use. Intellectual or info products, as people call them, are a little bit different. You actually have to see it, and it's hard to visualize the results. You're looking at where you are today and where you want to be. And so we've been exhausted over the last couple of years. Back in 2013, 2014, you could watch a webinar, people would click and buy a $2,000 program, no problem. That barely happens anymore. Too many people got burned, the threshold for coaches to get into the marketplace is very low. You can actually, if you look some of the life coaches out there, they've taken a $12 course on Udemy and gotten themselves certified, qualified. It doesn't take a whole lot. So what people are really craving right now are relationships. From the most part, I think guru marketing is over. A lot of the gurus were great self-promoters, but did they actually deliver results, tangible results? And that's where we're really looking at the process and listening to what's going on in the marketplace. When we talk to people, they have a lot of theory when they've gone to the gurus, but they don't have a lot of actual, I've set this up. I have an audience. I know what I'm doing. I know what my niche is. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today and why we see that happening. So if you've ever worked with a coach, one of the first things they do is they get into the components of your message. They dive deep into the message and the medium. So let's talk a little bit about that. If you have a message, and you've heard this over and over and over, it has to be clear, it has to be concise, and it has to be consistent. And one of the things that we see over and over is that it's not very clear, it's not very concise, and it's not consistent because it's changing all the time. There are so many people, you go to their website and you're like, what does this person do? And that's really tough for entrepreneurs, especially since so many of us are caught up in this author, coach, speaker, I have to be all of those. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be all of those. What you have to do is turn a profit. So you have to figure out the most efficient way to get your message out there. And a lot of that is really deciding what your medium is. So let's go into that for a minute. First, you've developed your message. Now you're going into the actual medium. And I have some notes over here I'm looking at. So let's talk about that medium for a minute. That means you have to be on the right platform. You have to be exercising platform etiquette. And what that means is not screaming at people, not spamming people. And you have to be really looking at the analytics. And most of the time, coaches, authors, speakers, businesses don't do that efficiently. They have the wrong message on the wrong platform. Let me give you a great example. I know someone who's a real estate agent, and over on Facebook, a lot of friends, she shares a lot of personal stuff. Let me just define for you, and I heard this defined yesterday very well as well. Because you overshare, because you are using a lot of TMI, does not make you vulnerable. It makes you an oversharer, and it's uncomfortable for people. So make sure that you're not doing that. Being vulnerable is just being you, period. If you cuss, cuss. If whatever it is you do that you would do in everyday life, do that on the platform. Unfortunately, for some people, that oversharing is too much. So back to the right platform. She's over on Facebook. She's sharing about her divorce, her stepkids, her everyday life, and a little bit of real estate. But then I was over on LinkedIn, and she's sharing. They're exactly the same points that she's making. Okay, LinkedIn is not the place to share your personal. It's a business platform. You share about your business. You write articles. You share content. You show your expertise. So my point here is make sure that your message that you've crafted that's now clear and concise and ready to go, that you are identifying the changes you need to make across different platforms. So don't share the same things on Facebook. You may have the same message, but don't share the same things on Facebook that you share on LinkedIn. So the next thing that we're going to get into, and this is the piece that I think so many people really miss when they're working with their brands and their posting and everything they're doing around their message, is perception is reality. That's something you probably heard before. We hear it all the time in different areas of advertising. It's just what it is. Your brand is not what you think it is. It's what others think it is. So it's really all about how you said it, where you said it, and the response you're getting. So this is where the analytics come in. If you have crickets when you're posting, something is wrong in all of that. You need to look at where you're saying it. The example I just gave of the person who's talking about her divorce or her ex-husband or whatever it is on LinkedIn, not the right place. I'd be shocked if you're getting any sort of response there. That's where you share about real estate. So make sure that your tribe is actually responding. And this is where you can take a deep dive into doing more of what's working and doing less of what's not working. But before you can do that, you have to be absolutely aware of how you're coming across and what that's looking like. So here's another thing that we're seeing a lot of out on social media is audience validity. So one of the things you have to remember is that in order to inspire an audience, you have to have some sort of emotional connection. It's not just gathering the tribe and throwing things at them. We have this wonderful thing that we do in books, and it's really hard. Any writing coach will tell you that getting their client to show, not tell, is a big deal, especially in fiction. Because consider this for a minute. If I show you how to do something and inspire you to do it, you really feel good about it. But if I tell you to do it, you feel like you've just been bossed around. I'll just share. I used to play golf with my ex-husband. Oh my God, love the man to death. But when he showed me or gave me golf tips, I hated him. I had this feeling the way it was said that I just wasn't good enough. And that's the way a lot of people feel when you tell them instead of showing them. So always be willing to do that, to build that emotional connection. People appreciate it when you show them instead of tell them. So how does this fit back to emotional connection? When I'm showing you how to do something, I feel connected to you. You feel connected to me because we are interacting and communicating in a very helpful way. If I tell you how to do it, you feel bossed around. So this is where I think a lot of people miss the emotional connection and communication. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I see missing in marketing as well, because it's all the same conversation. Tony Robbins, if you've ever looked at his needs stature, there are 6 things that every single person on the planet has. It's all within us, and it's a needs hierarchy. So when you're looking at that, you have to be able to identify what is the structure, what is the moral componency or value componency of that need structure, because that's really going to speak to what your audience needs and how they receive it. So let's talk about that for a minute. Remember, you have to be able to put this in the order of your exact audience, or at least get the top 2 to really be able to connect on an emotional level. So the first one, the need to be needed. These are people who are looking for relationships. They're looking for recognition. They're looking for visibility. If you can connect with that on an emotional level, those are really your people. And it may not mean that it's the only thing that's up there in the value structure, but if you can identify that and get with those people right away, that's what they're looking for. That's what's actually going to help you connect. The second one is growth. This is the need for expansion. This is the capacity, the understanding, and the capability that people are looking for. They want to be able to grow, to transform, and to move to the next level. And by the way, I hate that "let's move you to the next level" when I see it in copy. What does that mean, the next level? Where am I going? Where am I at now? You need to identify that. And that's one of the things that we do really well with the Quiz to Qualify platform, is basing where you need to be on a success. This is what success looks like, and where are you on that scale? The third one is certainty. So you see certainty a lot with people who they want to be sure. They want to minimize risk. They want to have security and comfort. You see this a lot in the advertising world with banks and insurance and mortgages, annuities, things like that, where people really, really want to know before they invest their dollars. We're seeing a lot of that in the coaching world right now. People want to know that they have a relationship with you, that you've got their back as a coach, and that you have solid deliverables inside of your contract. That's super important, because people aren't just walking away like, I'm going to wave my magic wand and 6 months from now you'll have this. They want to know that you've got their back, and 6 months from now you will have this. And if you don't have this, you'll step in as that person and ensure that they're getting the kinds of results that you put in your deliverables. The fourth kind is connection. And this is really the need for love. This is so important, because this is where I think we're going as a society. We've had social media. We've had, toxic social media. I look at Twitter and I don't even play anymore. The fighting, the toxicity is horrendous. We want to play in platforms where there is belonging, spirituality, connection. Let me give you an example in the ad world. Beer commercials. You never see a guy sitting in the living room by himself with, food packages all over the table, drinking beer, passed out. Like, that's not connection. You see those people out in fun places, doing fun things, connecting with other people. So where does that fit on the hierarchy of need scale when you're serving your clients? The fifth one is contribution. And contribution is really a place of needing to serve. And let's face it, out there are a lot of people that say they're here to serve, but when you get into those programs, products, and services, they're not doing much serving. These are people who are really better at self-promotion. And I think that's very important. We talk a lot about brand alignment. This is where you see people who are out of alignment with their brand, because they'll tell you one thing, but you see them behaving another way. People who are there to truly serve will go to the nth degree to make sure their clients are served. And we're going to talk a little bit about this in a minute when we talk about where we're going with our latest campaign. The last one is variety. And this is kind of opposite on the spectrum from those people who are risk adverse, where they want to minimize risk. These are people who are a little more willing to put it out there. They risk a little bit more. They're willing to get out of their comfort zone. That doesn't mean that risk is nowhere on their scale, because we have all of those, but maybe that minimizing risk is a 5 or a 6 instead of a 1 or a 2. So what's really important when you sit down and you put all of these campaigns together is that you understand where your people's needs fit on that spectrum, because that's going to help you copyright in a better manner and really be able to connect with those people on a much higher level. So let's talk about that campaign where we're seeing the marketplace shifting and where we're actually going. How many of you are really tired of getting those affiliate emails that say, my best friend Juliet has this great thing? And you can tell the copy is pre-written. You can tell that everything's going, that it's BS. It's written to bring you in, but it's not really written in a way that really zings you, that really pulls you in. We're changing that this time. We're actually, instead of going out and getting affiliate partners with big lists that, play big, we're actually working with our own clients this time. We're running them through a campaign of how and what a really great joint venture looks like. And we're actually asking them to insert their results in our email that goes out that invites them to our webinar. Why are we doing that? We sat back and realized a couple weeks ago that 90% of our business is coming from our past clients. At the end of our program, we always, on Module 6, we invite people to be our partners. We explain our partner program. We explain why we're inviting them to do it. And so this time we're actually going to bring all of our clients in. We're going to teach them what joint venturing really looks like, because we've been teaching them all along about building an audience that is smaller and very connected. If you come into our programs, we don't teach you to go out and get social proof. We want pocketbook proof. That's what we call it. If you have money in your pocket, that is so much more valuable than, your marketing person saying, oh, you got 1,000 clicks. I invite you, when someone tells you that in the marketing world and that, that you've hired digitally, if you've gotten 1,000 clicks and no sales, something's disconnected there. And I invite you to call Lexus and say, hey, you know what? I got 1,000 clicks this month. Can I make my car payment with clicks? I bet you they're going to click it right in your ear and hang up on you. So that's one of the reasons that we have invited our actual clients to be our joint venture partners this time, because they can speak to the deliverables. They've been inside of the programs. They also can speak to the care that they got. Were they really served inside of the program? They can speak to all of those. Yes, we are writing some of the copy, but we're inviting them to insert their own experiences and share that with their audiences. That's something new that we're trying this year, because we tried it on a lower level last year and we had really great results. Let me just explain that to you. Last September, we ran a campaign. And when we ran the campaign, we did this on a limited basis. Back then, we had about a 60% referral level from our past clients. When we engaged in this last September, that raised. We had clients out there writing those emails or using our emails and inserting their experience with us. And we went up 30% in our referral level. So that's one of the things we're doing this year. We're all about relationships. So when I say relationships, if you know anything about Quiz to Qualify, you know that it's a self-reflective platform that you use with your potential clients. But we also bring people through to what's called a commitment level. And based on that, you pick up the phone and you start that relationship with them. And many of our clients have gotten great results with that, because people want connection. They don't want to click anymore. They actually want to have a relationship that builds trust with the person they're going to hire. And so that's what our platform has really done for people is we've built those relationships, not only with our clients, but potential clients and potential partners, and real relationships, having real conversations. Having a digital conversation is not a real conversation. People are craving connection. Give it to them. And that doesn't mean that you pick up the phone and you make an offer on the first call. Maybe you just chat and find out what their wants and needs are and see if you can even help them. So we're doing that. We're also speaking a lot to results. You can see that from our JV partners that we're bringing on. There are actual clients that can speak to results. One of the things that happens inside of our program is we invite our clients to use something called FreshBooks. And when you send out a contract, it's not a wavy gravy contract. Here are the deliverables that you're going to walk away with in 6 months, and making sure that when the relationship is done in 6 months, we're actually quizzing them again. We're finding out, did they get the results that were actually on that contract? And if they haven't, we re-up them for the next round. We invite them to come back through the program again. And we invite them to do that at no cost, because you have to remember this as a author, coach, or speaker, that if people aren't getting results, it's never their fault. They will always come back to some deficiency on yours. And if you're really out there to serve an audience, that means you'll step into it. So I just want to share another tip before we go, something we're doing on Facebook with our group. We have a group, a Facebook group. A couple things we've done. In the last year, we've slowed down the growth tremendously. We didn't want to be one of those groups where you came in and everybody spammed. So our Facebook groups now, we use the quiz to get in. Now, probably 1 in 15 people actually fills out that quiz and gets into our group. We've made it very exclusive, and we've done away with the, we need 2,000, 5,000, that we need the social proof inside the group. What we're looking for are people who are really connected, need us, want us, and are dedicated to learning what we have to teach. I would rather have 100 clients who are paying attention and actually paying me any day of the week than 10,000 people inside of a group who just don't give a damn or in there to spam. So we're really working on what we call pocketbook proof instead of social proof over on social media. The other thing we're doing is, since we're slowing down our group growth, is we're also highlighting members when they come in. What does that mean? We are reaching out to the new members and saying, we're so glad to have you. Thank you for taking the quiz. I see where you really need help. I'd love to promote you inside of the group. So we're actually doing 15 to 20 minute Facebook Lives with every group member, because we know that there's gold in there. We're spending the time getting to know these people, to help these people, to actually serve these people. And when you're inside of the Quiz to Qualify program, I think anybody who's in there will tell you that we actually have a group of collaborators in there. People are getting to know each other, not just on the group calls, but inside the group. There's a lot of activity, helping. We're connecting people with the people that we think would be ideal partners for them. And it's really, really fabulous. So I encourage you to do that inside of your group too. Don't be about the social proof, be about the pocketbook group proof, because that's really going to propel you into your next sale. So I want to invite you, as we start this campaign over the next couple weeks, I think we're going to be launching in June, is go over and take our quiz. It's at www.leadlogicquiz.com and find out what our lead status is, because what we're doing is really a relationship building lead generation program. So if you want to know more, go over to www.leadlogicquiz.com and get inside of our queue, and you'll start to get the emails about the campaign. And here's something else I want to give you before you go. Just something that popped into my mind when it comes to referrals. If you are really out there to serve your audience, when you identify and have conversations with someone who's ready to come into your program, give them referrals. Let them go out and talk to your past clients. Why is this really important? Because if your past clients are being served well, they'll share that. There was a situation this week where one of my clients called me and said, I'm looking at, I'm not going to mention the name's program. And I said, did you ask him for referrals? And she said, I did. And nobody had anything nice to say. And I said, well, I think you've got your answer. If they made $12,000 in 2 years, doesn't sound like they were really served by that program. And then the other person she talked to actually said that they lost money during the program. So be sure that you ask for referrals for, can you give me 3 to 5 people that I can call and find out what they really got from your program? So that's it for today. Go over to www.leadlogicquiz.com, check out one of our quizzes, see what's going on, and have a beautiful day.